Welcome to our new studio space. Okay, so if you're watching this video, you get to see our new loft where we moved in. All of the exposed brick, the massive, massive windows, which are obviously giving me so much life, all the things. And this has to do with today's episode because we are talking about what the heck happened this summer. Okay, what the heck happened? Because I did a life update podcast episode a couple weeks ago, and I told you all that we were like basically set between two locations. I think I said Salt Lake and England. Okay. And then we went and moved to Georgia. And it was not on my bingo card, okay? I did not foresee myself moving to Georgia, but here we are and we're kind of loving it. Okay, so let me back up for you. Give you some context. We're going to talk about all things, but first of all, the drink of choice today is a massive, it's like literally the size of my head. But I love that. Extra ice. Okay, so I took an old pickle jar and upcycled it, which has just been so fun. I've been loving this. So it's a giant pickle jar, and I Goo the whole outside, washed it all up real nice, and now I just like load the whole thing full of ice and then make myself a honey and cream latte. A honey and cream decaf latte is currently a thing. I got a Ninja Luxe cafe situation where now I get to like actually make espresso shots because I was working with an espresso before, which is great. I love the little pod. It was super easy, much faster. I will say that if you're looking for speed, you don't really want to be doing all the things that I have to do now to get my morning cup of coffee. But there's something so calming about having like a ritual and kind of just being able to make a cup of coffee that tastes really good and do it slowly. So I have had we bought it for our anniversary, which was in the beginning of August. And it was kind of our anniversary gift to each other because it was a pricier machine. And I loved it. Loved it, loved it, loved it. It was so fun, except it took us like maybe 2 weeks to actually set it up and use it because we were so overwhelmed. Like you would look at it and it just felt complicated. So there was one afternoon where we were like, okay, the only thing that we have on our to-do list for the next like hour is to figure out this machine. And so yeah, we've been practicing with it and having so much fun, and this is my current concoction that I'm loving. So I put honey with my espresso shot and then a little bit more in there with just some like zero sugar Chobani sweet cream, and it's fantastic. So anyways, that's the drink of choice. Now let's buckle up for a story time. Okay, I feel like it's all a blur. It's all a blur. All right. So as you guys know, Matt was trying to figure out what he wanted to do for work, what he was even where he was going to work. I mean, it was crazy. It was so insane. And we thought we had it narrowed down to Salt Lake City, which let me paint the picture even better. Basically, what in the end of all of this, Salt Lake City, he had a job offer and it was a very high paying, very fancy, like corporate job. And that's so fun. It's fantastic. Like they literally cater in lunch every day kind of vibes. And it was like the team seemed so cool and they had set it up that he was going to fly out there, and it was like a really really amazing exciting thing, and we were going to live in like a floor to ceiling window sky rise in downtown Salt Lake with like a mountain view. And it was a very different lifestyle, okay? A very different lifestyle. Just a little bit more, I don't even want to say like money focused or materialistic or anything like that. But it wasn't ministry, but it was an opportunity that had been presented to us. And it was kind of like, okay, like maybe we aren't meant to be pastoring a church. Like maybe this isn't what we're supposed to do. So we were tossing around that idea. And then there was a church in England that was really, really excited about Matt. And we actually booked flights and we were all set to go out there and do a whole trip. And it just got really complicated as far as like our dog. So England is on an island, okay? They've never had rabies. So to get your dog to England is like the most insane process I had ever heard of. It was like we had to take him to Kansas City to get this like specialized shop that they only do in Kansas City. And then we had to fly him over, and unless we paid for like a $15,000 plane ticket, we had to put him in the cargo hold, and he's, freaking 11 pounds. Like I was like, I can't put this baby in a cargo hold. It just got so complicated. Okay. So I was feeling very stressed about, and that's just like one very small piece of moving our lives over there. Because then there's the car situation. We both have cars, and neither of them are equipped to drive on the other side of the road. And you're supposed to, like, the driver's seat is supposed to be reversed. So you can have a car like that for a little bit in the UK, but not long term. And then we didn't have credit, we didn't have any sort of like sponsorship, the visa situation, and then he was going to be going over and working at a church, but then I would be going over still working, but not necessarily taking from the UK job market. So we weren't sure how taxes was going to work. Literally, guys, it just got so complicated. The phone plans, everything got complicated. And we were like, okay, Lord, like, if you want us to do this, we will do this. If you want us to literally move across the pond and figure this out, we will figure it out. And I really wasn't scared of the work, but I was nervous that we were choosing chaos just to do it. Like, I think we were kind of leaning towards that one for the plot. Like, how cool would it be to be like, yeah, we lived in England for a little bit, which isn't necessarily the best way to walk into ministry. Like, I really feel like we were doing it more so we could live in England than we were to pour into the church there. And Matt's in the army, so that was going to be super complicated because he's an army chaplain. Guys, it got too much. So finally, about 2 weeks before we were supposed to leave on that trip, we pulled our name out of for consideration. And we still went on the trip, but I'll get back to that. We pulled our name out of consideration. We just said, you know what, I don't think this is the time or place for us right now. And they were pretty upset, not at us, but just like, I think that we all kind of got excited about what could have been. And so that was really hard. And so we accepted the job in Salt Lake, and we kind of kept turning back to like, okay, wait, are we choosing money or like a very cushy, comfortable lifestyle over calling? Like, is that what's happening here? Or are we, so wrapped up in whether or not we're answering calling that we're not taking good opportunities that God is giving us, like it's a form of blessing. So anyways, we went through this whole giant like spiraling situation. When one of us was feeling good about a decision, the other one was questioning it, and it was just crazy. So we had the opportunity at my parents' church for this pastoral residency position, and it paid decently, and it was just a really cool opportunity where Matt would get to work in pretty much every ministry setting and figure out what actually he was called to do, and then be given opportunities to kind of step into more roles. And it was really, really sweet. And like I said, so this is my parents' church, so we're back out here in south of Atlanta. And we were kind of going back and forth, like, okay, is this what we want? And it was just a question of like pride, of like, okay, wow, we're like about to give up England and this like insane opportunity in Salt Lake. Like, are we crazy? So we came out here, visited for a little bit, went to the church, tried everything, and mind you, we sold our house while this happened. So we literally sold our house, packed everything up, and put it all in one of those pods storage units and loaded it up, it got picked up, and we stayed with my in-laws for a little bit, and then we literally were all over the place. We still kept our flights. We couldn't get a refund on our flights to the UK. So we were like, well, here we go. We're going back to Europe for a fun trip. So we did like a UK trip with Ireland, Scotland, and a little bit of England. And it was so fun. It was so fun. And the temperature was amazing. I needed a break from the super hot weather of the south of this area. So we came back, and then during all of this, we accepted the role at the new church in south of Atlanta, and it was insane. It was insane. So we are traveling internationally. We have none of our stuff. We're staying with my parents. We're staying with his parents. We are kind of going through a lot emotionally, like grieving the house, saying goodbye to all of our friends. It was just so emotional. And then on top of all of that, Matt starts a new job. I'm traveling for work and decided, why not? I was already in Orlando. We decided to go to Disney World, me and my parents. We're just chaos, okay? As you can tell, this was chaos. In the midst of all this, though, I found a really, really fun apartment, and it is an old, like, cotton mill that they turned into, like, this, like, I'm not gonna say luxury. It's not luxury, but it is a nice apartment. So we moved our 4 or 5 bedroom, I can't remember, 4 or 5 bedroom house literally into a studio apartment. Now, when I say studio apartment, it's not as small as you're thinking, okay? But what makes it a studio apartment is that there is no door on our bedroom, okay? So when you walk in the front door, there's like a nook, and that's where like we have our bedroom. And then there's like a closet, and there's only 2 doors in the entire apartment. It's the closet door and the bathroom door. So then you keep walking in further, and it's kind of like an open space, and there's like a kitchen and a dining room and a living room, and it's all connected. And then if you keep walking further and go through this like archway, you reach this like tower space. And so the tower space, we're the only apartment that has this like cool little space, and you walk in and it literally has stairs that go up multiple floors, and it's so cozy. So we have turned the tower into like our favorite place. So the top of the tower is the loft, which I'm in right now. This is where I work all day. This is where I take all my meetings, and there's just surrounded by windows and massive, super high ceiling. Like I can't even tell you how high these ceilings are. Maybe like, I don't know. I don't want to be dramatic. I'm going to say 30 feet. 30 feet up for me right now. I don't know. Something like that. It's crazy. It's crazy tall, really fun space. But then on the bottom of it is where we've turned like into our hobby room. So we literally built like this, well, we didn't. We built it, but we bought it, you know, whatever. We built this coffee bar situation, and it's so fun. We filled the whole room with maps and bookshelves full of books, and like 2 really comfy fun chairs. And so like we've just really turned this tower into like our favorite things rooms, and our offices are in here. So it's been really interesting. It's been really really interesting because not only are we adapting to a new lifestyle, we also live in like a downtown area. So we get to walk to the farmer's market on Saturdays, and we get to just like, we're literally walking into coffee shops and stuff like that. And it's so fun. So fun, but it's also really different. So in every way, shape, and form, it's been different. And like the culture is very different. We're used to, Fort Worth is like a pretty big city, especially because it's so close to Dallas. Like it's just interesting, the difference, because we're in a small suburb of Atlanta, and it is really fun, but it's a lot slower. Like everything's really slow, and I'm trying to embrace it. I'm trying to embrace the slow, intentional living, but it is definitely not what I was expecting. I don't know. It's very interesting, and I'm still trying to get a handle on it. And then it didn't help. So Matt started his job. Okay, let me back up. We get back from Europe. We had like maybe a week staying with my parents. Then we got oh my gosh, wait, let me back up. Okay, hold on guys. This is how it went down. I think I blocked it out. We got back from Europe Friday night at like 11 p.m. The next day, Saturday, we moved into our apartment. Okay, so we literally were so jet lagged, so tired. We started the process of moving things in, and I looked at my parents, and it's hot. It's Georgia, okay? It's hot. And I looked at my parents, I said, I'm too tired for this. I'm literally hiring movers. And I called a moving company. I said, how fast can you get me 2 men? Like, I need 2 men to come handle the rest of this. So we hired it out. The 2 men came and moved the rest of the stuff in, praise the Lord. And then Matt still kept working because, you know, he's, I guess, crazy. And we get all of the stuff in the apartment. Then on Tuesday of that same week, I leave with my parents, go to Orlando, go to Disney World. They come home, and I stayed there for 10 days in Orlando for a work trip / Disney trip. Okay. So I was gone for 10 days. In those 10 days, Matt started his job at the residency. Insane. Okay. It was so much. Then I get back Saturday afternoon. We go check out the place that my brother and sister-in-law just bought, because they found out while I was gone in Orlando that they are also moving back to Georgia. There we go. So I'm in Orlando, and everybody's moving back to Georgia. And I was like, oh my gosh, my entire family is going to live in Georgia. This is crazy. We all live like 30 minutes from each other now. Insane. So all of this is happening. I get back Sunday. I have to go to like all of these new church meetings, you know, like the partnership classes, next steps kind of vibes. So I'm going to all this. I am so tired. I haven't even really gotten to like unpack and make our space feel like a home. So it still feels like we're staying in a cotton mill, and it's just strange. And then I get hit with like a death illness. Okay, usually when I get sick, no one knows. I just kind of power through. I'm a little more fatigued, and we just work through it. No. I like had to take my first ever Project Rescue sick day. Okay, because I was so just done. I was so fatigued, so done. So I do that. I take sick days and I am out. I'm sick for the entire week, and it was just so much. And so last week, guys, this is how recent all this happened. Last week was my first week of actually being like full capacity, able to handle life and start meeting people at the church and like actually get involved a little bit. So that was a lot. That was literally my summer. It's insane, but we're doing so good now. Okay, so I am meeting people at the new church. It's been really, really fun. Very different vibe from our church before. Our church before was very young, very like I'm gonna say the word hip. Okay, like we were young and hip. Okay, and this one is definitely an older church, and that's really, really sweet. And I'm very excited for that because I think there's so much wisdom there, and I'm excited to glean as much as I can from people who have just been around for so much longer than I and have so much more to give and offer than I ever could from my years of experience. So I'm really excited about it, and it's going to be really good. I also, because I choose chaos, throwing around the idea of starting my doctorate. I can't decide. I can't decide if this is a really stupid decision that I'm going to make because I don't know. I'm in a weird mood, or if we're going to actually do it. So stay tuned because I have to decide that in 10 days. So I don't know. Maybe we'll start that too. But anyways, this has been a chaotic update. I am glad that I was able to kind of maintain creating content on social media. Social media has seen a lot of growth for the last couple of months from me, which has been so fun, especially on Instagram. I've just had the opportunity to grow so much on there over this past summer, which has been so cool and so fun, and I'm so grateful. So I'm glad that like content has still been going up, but I feel like it doesn't really capture necessarily always the insanity happening because you're in the middle of the insanity. So looking back, finally calming down, finally about to jump into a slower season, and I'm ready. I'm ready to slow down. I think so. I say as I tell you that I might do a doctorate. It's fine. It's fine. We're figuring it out. But all of that to say, love you so much. Glad you're here. We've got so many fun things planned for the podcast this fall, this year, and even looking into next year already because, we're planners over here. So very, very exciting. And I'm so grateful for you. I love you so much. And yeah, thanks for literally being a bestie and being a part of this with me because I don't think I'd be doing it without you.